to just share one reflection of anything that struck you yesterday or has remained with you or you have been thinking about it from all that which happened yesterday. Anything that um, you think was something new that you heard of, or something that uh, has been with you after the day was over yesterday.
Good morning, everyone. That's a revision, like Adam said, from whatever we had learned yesterday. Me, being an inspector of boiler and factories as a profession, I had exposed a lot sites what we check and practically I'll write child protection as something that all activities in the industrial areas, in the far-flung areas. Most of the industries were located in the far-flung areas, remote areas where nobody could check each and every monthly basis, weekly basis. And sometimes when I went to check the employee list, and I saw laborers and everything, where they look so younger than they should be. But yeah, many child, especially the less fortunate kids, which has no access to education, and maybe due to financial situation that they have in their family, are being exploited to some extent. I'm not saying 100%, but to some extent there is. So whatever we learned yesterday, I feel that if we could apply practically in our daily profession where we all in our different respective offices, it would be much better, because what we talk theoretically here or inside our offices is totally far different from what is happening outside. Our job is mostly on inspection from time to time in the industrial areas all over the states. We are in charge, and I feel that whatever we learned yesterday, it reminds me of the rights that are being deprived and being exploited, where none of us, the concerning authorities, were aware about. And mostly we just depend on reports that they send to us. And we said that, okay, maybe we just presume that possibly it is true, whatever they submitted to us. So the moral is, for me especially, I'm not saying for anyone, that we should do field work as much as possible and make all this theoretical approach that different policies, rights that the concerning authorities have been imposed for the protection of children, and to turn into a practical application. Thank you.
So well said, sir. I think this consciousness of all officials will really help in making sure that what is there theoretically also starts getting implemented in whichever way possible within our job roles. Very, very well said, sir. Thank you so much. And I think I'll just like to add to that today's later sessions will also, especially the safeguarding policy, can also be a step that we use to build the consciousness within our own departments. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, madam, for the time. As I went back home, I was so intrigued by the collaborative art that Pragati had done because community participation is one of the topics that, as a training center, we are taking for all health workers. And this is the one of the trainings that is being imparted to all categories of health workers that we are doing. And that activity has it's got my attention. Why not integrate that into my training, because I know it's going to help a lot to not only for children. I feel adult learning also can be somehow modified. Can I? Yeah, thank you so much. So I feel that is what I'm going to take back. And when I went home, I had a talk with my husband about Nepal, how they are empowering their children to be not only participants but the leadership roles that I see in them. And we question our how we are bringing up our children, whether we are involving our children in decision making and so many things, which I find that as a society and as a kasi, there's so much lacking in getting our children involved for their rightful decisions, which are very essential for their growth and their development. So that is the best things yesterday that I have learned, apart from all the rights which are new to me. Yes, but these are the two most impactful things that I'm going to take back. No, thank you, madam.
Good morning to you all, and thank you, madam, for giving us this opportunity to speak out our opinions and our concept of child protections and child rights. Actually, like from my side, no, even though I worked with children in Ganesh House Hospital, like I deal with all the POXO cases also. Like I was not so much aware since I'm a medical officer from health background, so I don't know so much about law and order. But coming to this platform in this kind of training come workshop, like I'm learning so many things. But to tell you frankly, like it's like they say, there's still some more room to know more knowledge and informations. And what my colleague has shared, like it's like yesterday I missed the half session, evening session, so I didn't get most of the things. But what she said, like it's like I wanted to learn from her later on. So it's quite interesting. And what sir said, like different policies and collaborative from different departments which are working for children, for their safety, for their good future. So I think this kind of workshop and training is very very important. Like I think like for even for the like for everyone, like different departments as well, not only social welfare, health department or education department, but other department or law and order department, but other departments should be involved so that they will know what is the law and order for the children, what is their safety, what is their rights. So all these things should be this message should be given to them also as well. Thank you so much for conducting. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. I think the highlight from yesterday that I felt that I really like, it really struck me was the case in Nepal and the way they've adopted the child protection model. I was also discussing it with my colleague, when we were on our return back home, because we were thinking about how we can integrate it into ECD mission and how we can also use it, through the ICDS program. And we felt that, they're different. The first thing, of course, we said that we know little of it. So we need more exposure and we need more research about it so that we actually understand what kind of interventions that they've adopted. And but yeah, I mean, it was a great learning, and I feel like we should have more programs like this because we're learning so much from each other. So.
Good morning, everyone. So to reflect back about yesterday, so what I wanted to say is that I think we would like to say about child friendly. There is like in many so to say in our community, in the school, or like in any other public places, there is lacking of child friendly. Like sometimes we only take care of our own child, or maybe like in the society, if we like so to say example, like in the police station, Suppose if this child friendly could be, could be as an awareness in the community, in the school, where all the teachers, all the community leaders, all the parents, the other all the other people in the community to understand that the child needs to be protected. The child, if he goes to goes to play, if he go anywhere to play, or especially example in the village areas, like for us, we are working with these ICDS. So children mostly they'll go out and they'll go and play they'll go out from the houses. So if that child friendly can be practices or can make people aware, so that will be more helpful. Yeah, thank you.
Good morning to all. It's basically the same because I've dealt with children also in the Anganwadi center. So as my own experience, I've come to notice that even though they come from good families, you can never say that in the villages people are so least bothered about their children, or parents are very least bothered about their development of the well-being of their child. But I've come to notice that many are not like that. They have changed their perspective, they've changed their concept. They are into their well-being, into the well-being of their child. They care about their child's education, they care about their food, they care about their health. But it just comes to very, very less fortunate parents, as I've noticed. They want to show the same, but they're not able to, access even if it's government facilities or whether being different schemes. Because once, it's not we in the field, we treat them differently. We play along with them, we get along with them. But sometimes they tell us, when we go to that office, they treat us differently because we are not well fortunate and that. So I feel like what we should do is change that concept, change the mentality that we are in. We should change not just our colleagues, or we should not just try and change what's there in the field. Sometimes it starts within ourselves, within the office. So when it comes to child right also, it's the same. We should change our focus. We should change our mentality. First, it should come within us, then it should go into the field. That's it. Thank you.
First thing is, what I've learned yesterday is, previously I have never heard about these 4 pillars: right to survive, right to develop, right to protection, and right to participate. So this is something very new to me, which I've never heard of, even though I'm in the labor department. So basically we're dealing with child labor, but then our dealing with child labor is like mostly, let's say, legal matters. We identify the child, produce it before CWC, and then that's it. That's our job. After that, we take over only for legal process only. When it comes to the rehabilitation of the child, everything is left to the CWC and the DCPO. So basically, this is something new to me. So I don't know much about child rights, even though I've been in the field for quite a number of years, maybe 15 to 16 years. But still, it's something new because our labor department, we don't deal exactly with children. So we deal mostly with labor welfare. So there's so many issues. So what I would just want to say is main thing is, I think so, it's just not about the child. Labor welfare is very, very important, because when it comes to child development, it's directly linked to the labor welfare. Because most of how do I put this? If the parent is a laborer, and if he doesn't send his son to school or his daughter to school, then the cycle will continue. So that's why, according to me, labor welfare is very important. However, regarding child rights, as per the pre-module assessment, I've given myself low. Okay, so I just hope that by the end of this program, it will change to moderate. So with this, thank you.
Yes, good morning to everyone. Thank you, ma'am, for giving the opportunity. Actually, I'm from Juvenile Justice Board Mobile 1. I'm working as a DEO, and I'm not dealing much with this. I'm just a staff, and everything dealing is with the member and principal magistrate law. But this training give me information regarding the child rights and child protection. Actually, as a staff in the Juvenile Justice Board, we used to give them information regarding the rights of children when they are accused as a juvenile or child in conflict with law. We used to direct them that we have the right to get a lawyer from the government. You have a right to apprehend with your parent to the police station, or you have the right to inform that any police officer who apprehend the CCL should not be in uniform, should be in civil dress, to be child friendly as said by another member. That's all that with this training I got a lot of information regarding rights and protection of children, that even if they are dealing with the society or in law or in police, everything. Also, I just got information regarding the first that promote this child protection, that Srimati Glantang job. I got information just with this training. That would give me information to know who was invented or who was organized first this child right society or this Geneva Declaration, and that's give me a lot of information. I think from now on we can get more information with this type of training. Thank you.
Good morning to one and all. So actually, I'm a member of JGB. So yesterday we have a lot of discussion regarding child rights and protection, but it seems we left aside of these children in conflict with law, because children in conflict with law, so they are very vulnerable, because like sometimes when they commit offense, people look at them in a different way. When they go back to the society also, they look at them in a different way. So I think we need more intervention regarding the regarding the well-being of the child in conflict with law, because as I have said, when they go back home, when they go back to the society, sometimes this child, they don't dare to go out, and also they don't dare to talk to anyone. Maybe if because of this reason, maybe they can do more offense, maybe more serious, more heinous. So that's why we need more intervention, more discussion, so that we could give them counseling, and also they will know their rights, how to go about. So from my side, that's all. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. I myself, I'm Daisy, thank you. Presently, the member of the Child Welfare Committee, East Kasil District. So, since yesterday I had during the the session where I had interaction with Madam Meenakshi. So I was discussing with her regarding child sexual abuse. Okay, I'm very much concerned. Okay, so yesterday we are talking about all child rights. We know that our Indian Constitution, there are so many rights, right? We have fundamental rights. We have directive state, principle of state policy. Then we have just like the United Nations Convention on Right of Child. We have right. We are not saying we don't have right. We have the Juvenile Justice Act. It talks about the best interest of children. We have child in conflict with law, like Madam Bara is saying. We have the CNCP. We have Juvenile Justice Board. We have Child Welfare Committee. We have the District Child Protection Unit. We have all out here the Department of Health, various departments. Okay, but yet it is a need of the hour for us. We need such training so that we can embark, at least to our community. Okay, mainly for me, as a member of the Child Welfare Committee, what I'm very disturbing is POCSO case is every day. So even though in spite of our team, I think some of my friends out here will agree with me. Even though in spite of the department, in spite of the government, in spite of the court, are taking initiative, okay, giving the children. But yet, we cannot curb down this sexual abuse. So I'm very much disturbed. Not only that, substance abuse. So, nowadays, adult is using children for supplying and all like that. So, a grave concern for me. So, I hope so that if we can get something from here today, so that I can carry it back to the department and I can share what experience I have here today. Thank you so much.
Good morning, everyone. Yesterday, recap. When I'm in this room, I think of my son. I got a 10 years old son. I think of my son. When I got to know about this new topic about child participation and decision making, I think about my child. Do I give him this right? So I don't have much to say. Actually, we are from GGB. We are not in the field. We're just dealing with a child in conflict with law. So that's more. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, ma'am, for this opportunity, and thank you. Good morning to everyone. So yeah, I am the GGB members from the clear actually, but I came from education background where I have to deal with the children. So what I have learned here yesterday, I think it is very important that whatever we got from the trainings, we have to use and implement it, as well as we have to do this to make them, as well as all the teachers, the parents who understand more about it. So I'm not yet more to say, but I'm just want a quote by saying, the more we read, the more we learn, the more we listen, the more we understanding, the more we research, the more we experience. So thank you.
Good morning to one and all. I'm from the Child Welfare Committee department, I can say. So the recap for yesterday would be like, I've been attending many programs, training, and so on and so forth. But I would really would like to express my deep appreciation that the method and technique being adopted was quite unique. We did feel somehow after lunch, we did feel bored yesterday, but then that collaborative art technique, something was quite interesting. And what I mean is that, one of my friend from the Child Welfare Committee just expressed that we have an alarming rate of POCSO cases in our state. So being at that level, I think other department might be in a different way handling all these cases. But at the Child Welfare Committee, we are seeing it like anything. We are seeing a child from the being involved in child labor, a child who has been sexually assaulted, and a child who are in need of care, in need of care and protection. So I think what we have learned yesterday, in a way, from the forum today, if anything can be sorted out with the government, I think if the method that has been adopted, if that can be infused at the community level, I would say at the community level, because right now at the community level, I think our state government has just notified that we would be having the block level child welfare committee, something like that, at the block level. So this will be the best platform, because they're dealing at the village level, at the panchayat level. They'll be dealing with the different stakeholders who are at the village level. And further, I would also like to say that hopefully yesterday we have learned so many aspects on the rights of the children, that is, be it on the participation, survival, and also protection. So it would be very interesting going through the schedule today that there's a topic on child abuse, child sexual abuse, on all sort of that type. So that will be very knowledgeable and will be able to carry a very positive way forward. So I would just like to share that at the level of the CWC, I would just like to share that in my district, I can say I'm very concerned looking at the present trend of increasing drugs abuse, drug menace of the child below 18 years, and also the cases of sexually abused. So Regarding drugs abuse, I would just like to express my deep appreciation and thankfulness to the Kripa Foundation. Just recently, two child who are below 16, 15 years, just because of drug abuse, we have to drop out from school, and from there, we are in collaboration with the Kripa Foundation from here in Madhyandia. We are able to give them some good de-addiction treatment. So in that process, I hope from this from discussion today also, we'll be able to get so many positive way to move forward. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. Speaking about what we had done yesterday, me being from a law background, honestly speaking, it's all a basic thing to me to say because we have been studying about that, and also I'm a lawyer. We have been dealing with that every day. So regarding that, okay, fine. But I believe, apart from me, I believe every one of them who are not from law background, it must have been the best thing for them to learn yesterday. Apart from that, what I learned new since yesterday also, I said, I hope we learn something new, is that the new technique of conducting a training. Yesterday, by giving that picture and we all speak about it, that way, ultimately, we learn about many other rights in respect of the children. There are so many things that we have been untouched, that we have been unknown. But by showing that picture and we all participate at the same time, showing our own ideas to that, that was the best way, I would say. I have been attending almost so many training in different part of the country with respect to the child right, but that was the best yesterday. Apart from that, putting a fund in between where we do that kind of action thing also, that was interesting to keep all things, to make the session more interesting. That was the best. Adding to that, if you may allow me to just add a little bit, so far in my experience as a lawyer and as a JJB member, I've seen most of the child who are in conflict with law are coming from a poor background of a family and mostly are a dropout student. And when it comes to the NDPS, when it comes to the sexual abuse also, mostly our children are very much aware. By the age of 15, 16, they are hormonally active. So they are bound to do those things. But what I see, what it's really touched me is that I see most child who come to my office, I see they are dropout children. So what I see in your coming to your presentation yesterday with the literacy of Meghalaya, we actually all here are the stakeholder of child protection. We should take this issue very seriously. By giving education, by encouraging the parents to send their child for education, I feel like there are some part that we can curb this kind of a child, the child will get exposed to such kind of abuses. So we all should, whoever come to us, maybe we have to go give counseling or we have to deal with the parents who have children like that. We have to put this in mind that you have explained yesterday about a free and compulsory education for children below 14 years old. That is a fundamental right. We should keep this in mind whenever we go and give awareness also, that there is a law who can come for the POCSO, that a romantic tint should be kept aside. We should put more awareness not on the children but also on the guardian or the parents. So yes, education is a must in order to protect the children from getting involved into this bad situation. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. I think what I've learned yesterday was first the rights of children. They've been grouped accordingly. So that was the first time I learned. And also, I was amazed about how Nepal give the children the opportunity and how they empower them. And also that collaborative work that we've done, that I think that is an example for all of us stakeholders to be together, to work together for the best interest of the child.
Good morning, everyone, and especially to you members. Unfortunately, I was not present here yesterday. I'm here today on behalf of the Child Protection Officer. So I'm pretty hyped for this session.
A very good morning to everyone. From what strikes me the most from yesterday's program was the fact that the right to participation of children, which we are lacking in our society. Even in the field, when I go to the field, I see that we dominate as parents, as elders, as elder siblings. So maybe I can apply it more in my field of work. When I go to the field, maybe create a little bit awareness program for parents and council. This is what I've learned from yesterday's program. Thank you.
Morning, everyone. Thank you to you and Pragati. Yesterday was a nice session. And yes, as she said, I just mentioned participation part was a little different, something new, unique, collaborative work, collaborative art, colors. And of course, we have been attending trainings on child rights from time to time. And it was more interesting yesterday. As she said, most of it was basic. We have been attending because people come from, lawyers also do come to our centers. We do have programs where we invite them and learn about these things. And it's very nice that, those 4 pillars, like how they've been divided, right to participate and right to survival. Of course, the points we have learned before, but that division part, that was important. That's that we know which concept falls into which category and all that. That is very interesting. Can I also add something? We always attend trainings, like theoretical or practical, but I wish it could be more. And we always lack in implementation side and monitoring. Or if we put everything into use, someone monitors strictly, stringent laws, and I think we'll have a better society and safer protection and safe for our children to live.
Very good morning to everyone. What I've learned yesterday, as my colleague has been saying about participation, since we deal with children in Anganwadi centers, so I think we liked about that, the participation. Maybe if we give more awareness in the field, and also the technique that you were doing yesterday, the technique of conducting the program, it's very creative. Maybe you can do that with the children. You can teach them. The imagination, their mind can be. It broadens the mind of the child. So I have taken that. I can practice that. So that's all. Thank you.
Thank you very much for these reflections. And I think 2 things, apart from what I have said earlier, I think 2 things also which I want to just reiterate was, one is which someone said about starting it from self, and how do we conscientize ourselves and bring the change from within. I think that's very important. Working for the last mile kid. There are a lot of people in our state who would be aware, conscious, but there are still a lot who are not as conscious, as aware, or do not have the resources or access. So we as people in service, can we think about the person at the last mile and then do our work? And the last point which I really want to talk about is who is responsible for the rights of a child? And this is a debate that we keep having a lot of times, but I think it is a balance. We as adults, as guardians, as parents, as caregivers are responsible towards our children, and like what someone said, it is very important to build the consciousness of the parents and guardians, and at the same time also to work with the children to make their rights, and like someone said, making them conscious will also build their confidence to share or to speak up for themselves. I think both are very, very important, and that's how we should work forward on this. And hopefully by today also you would have some more ideas on how we could work on this. Thank you so much for your sharings. Over to Shannon for the day.
Thank you, Inakshi. Good morning, everyone. Today I will be taking most of the sessions, and it's going to be a very heavy session because we're going to be talking about child sexual abuse, child abuse. But before we do that, let's do an activity, okay? I know that we cannot move around much, but I'll give you these sheets of paper, okay? And then each one of you can pick up, 3 sheets, and there are 3 colors: yellow,
pink and green. So each one of you can pick up, 3 chits of those 3 colors, and I'll give you an explanation then of what you need to do.
From each of the sets. Yes. One for the lawyer. Okay, we need a few greens.
Do those words make sense to you at all? No? Okay. Usually, yes. So what you can do is when you look at the yellow, that's an adjective. The noun is in pink and the verb is in blue. Okay. So put the adjective, noun and verb together. So yellow, pink and green. Yellow, pink and green. Because yellow, pink and green. Yellow, pink, green. Done? Now I want each one of you to draw one. So what's the word? Just draw it. Yeah, just draw it. Yeah.
Anything that comes to your mind.
That comes. Okay, what did you get? So, circle got beautiful ocean picture. Whatever comes in your mind. So, it's childish, it's funny, and something so we need to use imagination. You want to know the reason why? I've acted this. Yes. So this is just an icebreaker session. None of it actually makes any sense. Okay, it's just a way to just kind of break the ice, get to know each other, just to see that okay, we're in the right space before we start something really serious. So with that, I'll start my session on child sexual abuse. But before we do that, I'll show you a video.
Where's Auntie?
What a pleasant surprise. Look at you. You've grown. You're blossoming into a beautiful rose, just like your mother. Come in. I have something for you.
Auntie, my father.
It's just your imagination. Thinking of boys, are we?
It was no use. She didn't listen. Sunday, after church service, I tried to tell the priest, but I couldn't. I felt so embarrassed and ashamed. A year passed, and the molestation turned into violence. When I refused my father's advances, he would beat me. And then he would rape me. Mother came home. She looked wonderful. I was so happy to see her. She had no idea what I was going through. Finally, when the two of us were alone,
You've grown up. Here, these are for you. You've earned them.
I tried to tell her.
What is it? Your father tells me you are quite the little mother.
Mother, Father, he makes me do things. He touches me and kisses me.
Of course he does. He's your father.
He makes me do things. He makes me go to bed with him.
I don't want to hear another word from you. Do you hear me?
Yes, Mother. Then she left. started to put on several layers of clothes, but it only made him angrier. Silently, I screamed out for help. One day in school, sit. Tell her.
What is it, child?
It's my father. He touches me and kisses me. The teacher was very kind and listened to me.
Take this, my little friend.
She gave me a number to call for help. I didn't dare. Where is little sister? Time to get up, sleepyhead. It's late.
Leave me alone.
What's wrong? It's father. He...
When you stand by the window, outside the light goes by, and people are just shadows of the dead tree line. Your heart is exploding with you. Let it burn.
Child Protection Unit, may I help you?
It also happened to you? Yes, it did. And it stopped when I told somebody. Will you help me? Sure, I will. Let me take you to somebody who can help you. But what if he finds out? It's okay. I'm with you. Everything is going to be alright.
When it's all too late, living dark, cold and scary. Oh, and to know where you are.
was very heavy, right? Yeah. So, how does it make you feel right now? How are you feeling? If you could share your thoughts. And do you think like what you've seen is like realistic? How are you feeling? I want to know about how you're feeling. Can anyone share?
Okay, thank you, Madam Shannon, for like, yes, what you said, heavy. It is indeed heavy. This is the first time, like, I'm looking at this video. Okay? To me, I feel disgust, pathetic, I feel confused. If I'm a child, I feel confused. And something like, looking at the video, what we seen is that, when the child needs help, even to her own mother also, she was like paying no heed. Number one. Number two is that because of that reason, the eldest daughter as well as I think so is the second one, the father could do the same thing. So there's something like, we always say that sexual abuse of children is being committed by, sometimes we can say stranger, but yes, in today's society, incest case is at a higher rate. So I'm very much, that's I was talking to Madam Meenakshi, I'm very much concerned. This is happening in our state. And I, being from East Castle district, so many cases like this. So it's like disheartening.
Thank you for sharing this. Looking at the video, it clicked the word to me saying that a family member are the greatest enemy of a child. We have seen most of the case against crime against children are being committed by within the home actually, committed by father, brother, uncle. Very rare case, like little case, we see that a case has been committed by a stranger. Hence, there is a word coming out that family member itself are the enemy of the children. So this is it. A mother who is supposed to protect her child, she ignored the fact that her child is nothing happening to her. Just for what? Just for the sake of copying her husband, just for the sake of saying that, yeah, he's my husband, he has to be the home. So she ignored the problem of her child. And that eventually become a hotspot for the crime for the children. So yes, that is it. Thank you for sharing, and that's the reality. Does anyone else wants to share? Yes, please.
Right, I'll be talking about on the practical level, all right? What is happening? There is one case, okay, recently one case where case of a sexual abuse case where a father, right, sexually abused the own child for almost 1 year. And the mother, she came to know about that. So the child is being like traumatized, victimized almost every day. Okay? And in spite of the child telling the mother, what did she say to the child, Do you all want to know what did the mother say to the child? The mother was saying that he is the breadwinner of the family. Please keep quiet. This is within the family. Okay, like to protect the respect of the family. But do you think so? Keeping the child life at stake will protect a family. So this is happening. We cannot say that might be only in outside Meghalaya. Come on, this is happening in Meghalaya.
Thank you for sharing that. And I would like to also add that that's the reason why. That's the reason why cases don't get reported. Now, the number of cases that are being reported are just the tip of the iceberg, right? And of course, Meghalaya is high. East Khasi Hills is pretty high for that matter in the whole state. The reason why is because we don't want to talk about it. We rather than protecting our children, we're protecting perpetrators, right? Anyone else would like to share anything else?
Through the video we have seen, I think we need to also understand and make people child aware that how to differentiate between good touch and bad touch. It's a good thing. We have seen that it started from the primary. Plus,
Thank you. That's a very important point. But may I correct you? Now it's not good touch and bad touch anymore. It's called safe and unsafe touch. Okay. We'll be talking about all of this, in the presentations, in the following presentations that I will be presenting to all of you. But just to have some thoughts, on this video, how do you think the daughter perceived herself? How do you think the daughter perceived herself? When you looked at that video, how do you think she perceived herself?
I think from the video, it's clear that she feels like she is the one at fault. It's not the other person.
So yes, confused, at fault. Okay, she's going through grief, anger. So those are what we call the impacts, right, of CSA. And children, for most children, they always believe that it's their fault. All children who go through child sexual abuse believe that it's their fault. And that's the reason why, as an organization, that we've been working with child sexual abuse now for the past 10 years, and we do conduct what is called the person safety education. One of the key things that we teach our children is that it's never your fault. Whatever happened, it's never your fault. So that's one of the key messages that goes through to children. How did you think that the daughter deal with the problem? The problem of abuse that was happening in her home. How do you think she dealt with it?
Express a feeling. Collective response.
So it shows that she was dealing with it herself. She did not have any kind of a support system, right? She went to her mother. She spoke to her mother. Her mother said, keep quiet. She does not want to hear about it anymore. She went to the priest. She was not sure, right? She even went to the teacher. Now the teacher just gave her a number, right? But actually, maybe the teacher could have gone a little step further to actually report that case, right? And I think that's the fear that all of us have. When we hear such cases, when a child has to come to us, we fear reporting, right? I think that happens with everybody. So when you look at that, video, who do you think could have been, her role models? She was there in the family. Who could have been her role models in her family? Okay, so the aunt could have been her role model. The aunt could have been her role model, but what did she do? She pushed her away, saying that, you know what, you're just thinking about boys. You're just imagining. And that is what happens actually with child sexual abuse cases. We tell children that they're just imagining. I'll share with you a story of somebody that I know, and she went through when she was young, she went through a similar ordeal. And you know what she said? She said that, I think, she had these flashbacks that there was something that, that it had happened. But you know what she said? She said, I think I'm just imagining. That was what she think. Now, how would somebody just imagine something like that, right? Yeah. Okay. So when you look at home, how would you define home? How would you define, a family?
A safe space. Like for anything. If you made a mistake, also to forgive. And basically, if you have done something difficult, also
So the home is supposed to be a safe space, but what we see now, and how ma'am has also shared, that the home is not a safe space anymore. Actually, it's the place where abuse happens. For children, it happens with people who they know, who are in a position of trust. Abusing that trust. Taking advantage of that trust and abusing a child. And I think that's the reality that we see when we're talking about,
child sexual abuse, which again I will share later with you what are the statistics. And of course, the statistics are just numbers, and I think for each one of us who have been dealing with cases, who have seen this, I mean, that is the reality. We don't really need numbers. Any other thoughts on the video? If anyone is happy to share anything you would like to share.
That is something that we need to add. We usually feel like whenever we have been in that place, we understand more of the situation. So the moment she learned about her younger sibling, she took swift action and she took her maybe to show us a good world where they are in a safe place.
So that is what sometimes maybe somebody who's gone through abuse may not report, but if they know that somebody close to them is being abused or could possibly get abused, that is the time when they think that okay, they need to report, because then they need to start keeping their siblings safe or anybody in the family safe.
I'm just curious, actually, after the report to Child Protection Unit, so that part of the video was missing. So what happened to the girl once she reported to the Child Protection Unit? Can you share on this?
So that actually is just a video, it's just an animation. And of course, so when you look at it at the end, I think if you remember saying that the abuse will stop only if we report, if only we share with somebody. So then I think, if you're really looking at somebody who can speak on the behalf, we have here, a Child Welfare Committee who can share with you what are the processes. Yeah?
Take this opportunity by sharing, okay, later. It is a good question, Okay. When a victim child is being produced before the Child Welfare Committee, what is the foremost step? The first step in which we take is that the child, we take this case intake form, okay? Not necessary that will force a child, but a child, whatever she wants to share, okay? So we have this, means in our district child protection office, we have counselors, experts counselors, then we have social worker, then we have outreach worker, okay? Then we have probation officer, non-institutional care, and probation officer, institutional care. That depends on which person is there in the office. So it happens in the last month where one case comes to us. So the case of where the child is being sexually abused by a father. So you know what, seeing in that video, all right, seeing that video, it shows that even the aunt doesn't pay heed, right? But in these circumstances, the aunt is the one who takes the initiative, who has come forward. And along with the clan, they've said that to the mother that if you are with, the perpetrators, that means the husband, we will leave you and we will take. And immediately they come to the office. And in such like with a brave heart, and they said, we are not scared. We are not scared, but yes, we know we are safe here. So see, in this case, if the child comes to office, we provide them a support person, okay, who can tackle all the needs in court, in POCSO court. Then we provide counseling. And suppose if we have to take the child away from the family. For example, if the father is a perpetrator, we cannot keep, in order for her to rehabilitate, means to get, a safe place. So we asked the family members whether if we could, place a child in a shelter home. Okay, so immediately we do that, and then might be, it depends on the, sometimes, if the child comes to a shelter home, okay, because when we know shelter home is like a place, like a home, when we say, and we have these probation officer, superintendent, the counselor, in which they deal in such a child-friendly way. Sometimes the child doesn't want to go back. Suppose might be ample time is being staying there, might be for 3 months or 4 months. And sometimes when we call for production, so what did he say? No, madam, I don't want to go back. So you can say that they feel safe. Okay. So, but might be, yes, after might be, we cannot just keep like that. Might be after, counseling after, we find that the report means the counselor report submitted by the counselor is the child is fit to, to restore back the child to the family, then we restore. Okay, but yes, everything is being given. Once a victim is coming to the means like child welfare committee, support person, counselor, support person to assist the child in court. And yes, I think so. My learned advocate friends are here. I think you will agree with me. In POCSO court, I'll just highlight a bit. Okay, in special court we have the special judge, and then we have the special public prosecutor. Okay, and then yes, defense counsel of course we have, but the special public prosecutor will be the one who will present the child. Okay, and suppose if there are question of like inappropriate question being questioned in the court, the support person, I think so, Madam Melody will agree with me, the support person has every right to tell the court, okay, that you cannot ask such question unless until like other court more. But for special means for POCSO cases it's quite kind of special. Okay, so is there any query for that? Or pardon? Oh, the father, yes, of course, he'll be arrested. And accordingly, he'll book according to the law, as per the POCSO Act. Okay? And sometime, parents comes out that, the father is being released. There's so many questions like that. What shall we do? See, I think Madam Malibri can add with regards to bail.
Okay, it's totally a court proceeding session now. Anyways, Madam DC has already.
We have a few minutes, and we will wait
Just a little bit of adding. When I'll speak about the court procedure, the child will be taken care by the district child protection unit, and whereas the father, the moment they will get the information about him, FIR will be filed, he will be arrested immediately. The child will be taken for a medical examination. That's a must for the doctor. And then even the accused also, the father, he will be taken for that. He will be in jail. To get a bail for a POCSO accused is very difficult. Very, very difficult. So that is the greatest protection we are giving to the children. Why it is difficult? We want the child to be safe. And if there is any bail will be filed for the accused, a guardian of a child will be called in the court to ask her, do you have any objection if the accused will be out from jail? If she say no, then the court is bound to keep him. That is all for the best interest of a child and for the protection of a child. Then the case will go on and on. If he is found guilty, he will be minimum of 20 years in jail. That's the end of his life.
Thank you to both of you for sharing such important information, and that is the purpose. So we're already starting our collaborations now because we're learning from each other. Like we have somebody, a doctor here who wasn't sure about what. So now that she's aware, if a case does comes to her, now she has the information of what to do or what are the what it is that also for her to share with the child, with the family, and where to go to. So thank you so much. We will break for tea. 15 minutes. Please come back, within 15 minutes, and then we will continue the session. And thank you so much.